Hi, Shawn. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm great. I'm feeling awesome. It's a great day here in Rio de Janeiro, and summer's coming.
Very awesome. Very awesome. We are having one of our first cool days here in heavenly Houston. So it is going to be a great day. I'm very excited to welcome everyone to episode 2 of the Your Happy Home podcast.
Amazing, amazing. And I'm excited to find out what the subject is today.
Very cool. Yes, definitely, Erica. What about food? What about food? How cool a topic would that be?
Oh my God, one of my favorite topics. So I'm all about it. Let's talk about food because I could spend a whole day here. And I hope that in the end of all this, everybody will be hungry and inspired.
Definitely, definitely. Hopefully, everybody leaves this episode inspired to share food, share stories,
Yes.
and gather around the people that are important to them. Food, Erica, I think in a conversation previously, you had mentioned something about food and love. Can you share that thought?
Oh yeah, it was actually about cooking for someone is one of the nicest ways to say I love you, right?
Most
You
definitely.
know, yeah, I'm preparing you food. I'm thinking about how you could uh, bring good elements to your body. Nothing says more I love you than that, in my opinion.
Most definitely, most definitely. In when you're cooking for your family, when you're cooking for friends that you love and that you want to share experiences with, it's a really great opportunity. I mean, the preparation of the food, the
Exactly.
even from going to the store to pick things up. We're about to experience Thanksgiving here in the United States. So everyone's already thinking about food. I'm thinking about, just family going to the store, all the way from gathering the food and then watching everybody prepare. Everyone has a certain task. But what is a food that you really enjoy on just a normal day? We were talking about Thanksgiving a little bit. It's not quite here. What is some food that you really enjoy cooking for your family?
Okay, there are my favorite ones. I always tell my kids in the future when they're grown ups, I tell them like make sure you learn at least four amazing dishes, you know, dishes that will be jaw dropping and everybody will be like, oh my God. It doesn't have to be extremely that kind of master chef cooking, but something that will impress your guests and get everybody together around that amazing dish. So I learned a couple, and because of my experience in Italy, I'm very driven for pasta and lasagnas. They're easy, they are comfort food. At least my concept of comfort food comes from that influence of my days back in Italy. And who knows more about food than Italians, right? Wait, I actually know who knows more, a little bit more about food than Italians.
Who?
Spanish people. Like, I love Spanish cooking,
Mm.
and their dishes are so amazing. But I don't know, maybe it's they're even in that subject. Um, what I really like about their kind of cooking, and I try to take that to my everyday experience, it's how they get simple ingredients to taste and look sophisticated. That is so amazing. Have you ever had this experience, John? Like you thought that someone put a lot of ingredients into an amazing dish, but in the end, it's just simple ingredients, but just well cooked, and with a little bit of that technique, it takes it to a different level.
For sure, Erica. I'm blessed with so many good cooks in my family, And my stepdad is a really amazing cook, and he always said and says that with a little garlic, onion, and butter to start off the dish, everything else is just so flavorful.
Oh, that is so true.
And I really taken that to heart, and really kind of, okay, well, let's start off with, let's get some or some oil. It doesn't necessarily have to be butter because butter will burn. But yes, it's just really fun and amazing to watch good cooks. My wife Milena, such an amazing cook, and she'll just go start chopping up stuff, and the next thing you know, in like 20 minutes, there's an amazing meal ready, and
Oh
she
my
just has a
God.
natural gift for that.
I know some people are so fast cooking and it turns out to be excellent. My mom's like that too. Like, I think there's something about the years and years of experience. And I'm getting quicker and quicker too. After I became a mom, I think I'm developing my own techniques, you know. But you asked about the everyday food here, like, I mean, the comfort food in Brazil. I think I would have to mention feijoada. Feijoada is what will gather people around a table and just enjoying that amazing dish. It's a very traditional dish here in Brazil. It takes, like, if you really want to make it an event, then you will just slow cook it, and the longer you take, the better it tastes, you know.
Erica, what is fishwada? Can you explain how what it is and how it's prepared and
Yes.
a little bit of background about it?
Okay, with pleasure. Okay, feijoada is a very traditional dish here in Brazil. It's what will make us all as a family gather around a table and just enjoy. And it's, like I mentioned before, it uses very simple ingredients, but the longer you take cooking, the better it tastes. It's one of those food or dishes that you will invite a lot of friends and gather around a living room. It's even better if you have an open concept kitchen, because you know it's gonna take long if you really want to take the taste to another level, you know. And with simple ingredients and long cooking, you get to extract the best of all the ingredients. It's a dish that comes from African culture, and Brazil has a very strong African culture. We have Portuguese culture, and it's a mix between Portuguese and African and indigenous um, culture in our food. You can see that in the everyday dishes that are like traditionally, you know, people understand those dishes as typically Brazilian dishes. So you can see basically a lot of that in every dish that we eat every day here. Like, you can see a little bit of African culture, indigenous culture, and Portuguese culture. But feijoada is exactly this mix between those three cultures, and all it takes is basically beans, and I would like to mention here a lot of garlic. Oh my God, we love garlic in the food. Garlic is my favorite. I could even eat like raw garlic because it's just so tasteful. It's just amazing, and it also takes the experience of the food to a different level. I think it powers up all the taste of the food. I don't know what happens with garlic. It's just and with a lot of garlic and a lot of onions, and I also like to cook with pork fat. It's even healthier for you. We add the beans and we slow cook it for 1 or 2 hours. And you add pieces of the pork with it. And you know, then it goes from house to house. They add their own special ingredient. I like to add a little bit of pepper in the end because it takes it even to a higher level of flavors and explores your palate in such a way that is so amazing. But you also want to talk about, if you talk about feijoada, you also want to talk about side dishes, because it's a tradition that if you do a feijoada, then you have to have farofa, which is cassava. Do you know cassava?
No, I don't.
Cassava is amazing. Cassava is like the base of our food here in Brazil, and basically every Brazilian will eat rice and beans and farofa, which is made of cassava. And the cassava is fried and salted with garlic and onion. Or if you prefer something more, you know, like a different textures in one dish, then you add eggs to the cassava. You fry the eggs first, and then you add the cassava, and it's gonna taste amazing. It looks a little bit like beach sand, which is funny, but it tastes so amazing. Everybody that comes from abroad and tries it for the first time will be like, "Why are you giving me beach sand?" And then they try it, and it's just amazing. I want to take some of this sand back home.
So it's a vegetable then?
Yeah, cassava is, it's like, um, how to say, it's a part of the potato family.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit different. It tastes different, but it has a similar texture to the
It's not like a
potato.
quinoa then.
Yes, almost like that, and it's very white inside, and outside it has a very hard structure that protects what the insides, and you have to cook it for a while, or you can turn it into a flour. And the farofa is made of a flour. My favorite one is with garlic and onion, because I think this mix is amazing. Like you have to add a little bit of oil or fat, like even better if you're using pork fat to do it. The smell of it, the smell of frying the um, onion and garlic in pork fat, or even better, olive oil, is just so amazing. And then you add the cassava in the end, and it's ready. It's super easy. It was just, it takes the food to a different level, because it has different textures on it, and so your palate experiences all of that at once.
That sounds really amazing, Erica. So if the family's waking up on Sunday, you've had some coffee, walk us through how you begin. What time do you begin to prepare it, and then what time do you think the that you would serve it? Walk us through the preparation,
Right,
and
right.
just if somebody wanted to prepare this at home.
Oh my God, Sean, yes, I would love to talk about it, because it takes me to a happy home moment. Uh, as you might have assumed, yes, we start very early in a Sunday morning, and then that will be the preparation of the side dishes that come with the feijoada. And if you're very close to a family, you would do a sleepover, which is the most traditional way of enjoying a feijoada, because you start preparing the meat to extract the best flavor. Of course, you can do it in 1 or 2 hours, but if you really want to experience the whole ritual of the feijoada, it starts on the day before, because you buy the food, the pork parts, and they usually come very salty. So you have to, all the women will gather and do this ritual where they talk to each other and listen to some music and have a caipirinha together, while doing that process with the meat, where they get the salt a little bit out of it, and prepare the meat. The day after, like if you really want to do the mise en place and leave everything ready for the next day, then you start cutting the vegetables and everything that you're gonna use in the process. Um, like for instance, with the garlic, usually we cut it the day before, because we want the slices to be very thin and very delicate. um, we're very precious with our garlic. We take it really seriously. And so you prepare it the day before. The next day, you will focus on just putting everything in the pan because it's very easy after that. All you have to do is fry garlic and onion, put the beans on the pan, and just it's we use like a pressure pan. I don't know if you have a specific name for that.
Pressure cooker.
Yes, a pressure cooker, and you leave there for 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, and it just gets cooked to that perfect point, and you feel like you're eating something healthy, but at the same time it has that substance. You feel the pork, you feel the bean, and it just you can just eat that the whole day long. You feel that you're good. You feel that you don't need anything else. There are very interesting side ingredients like collard greens. They are cut in vertical, and what we do, like how it looks really hard when it's raw, but then you fry it and with garlic and onion, and in the end it's just a mix because it's a little bit bitter, and then it's got the garlic, it's got the onion, it's got a little bit of the pepper you can add in the end, and it's so good for you at the same time, and it's perfect. And then apart from that, you also add like the next day when you wake up after you prepared everything, you wake up, all you do, like everybody's gonna sit on the table and cut an orange in four parts and put on the fridge. And then when it's time to finish up after you ate your feijoada, then the acid of the orange is gonna help you digest everything, and it just tastes amazing. It's refreshing at the same time.
That sounds like a really it's that's not even a meal, that's an experience. That's
Exactly, it's an
that's
experience.
starting out with a actually that's winding up the day before with beautiful conversation and maybe a refreshing beverage, and then waking up with some coffee to continue the
Definitely.
conversation, and then prepare the meal that everybody's going to gather around and really enjoy. That's really, it sounds amazing. It sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
And guess what the refreshing beverage is? A caipirinha, of
A
course, our famous
caipirinha,
caipirinha.
okay. And you have to tell everybody, what is a caipirinha,
Oh
Erica?
my God, I have to tell you guys about this experience of having a caipirinha. Caipirinha is also a very famous national drink here in Brazil. It's optional, if you want to add alcohol or not, it's really up to you. But of course, the typical one is with alcohol. And I think it all comes down to the kind of alcohol that we use. What differs the caipirinha from other drinks is the rum. The cachaça that we use, it's like a kind of a rum. It comes from the sugar cane, and there's a distillation process that is very delicate. So the taste is very refined, and at the same time, it takes you to. It reminds me of nature. Anytime that I have a caipirinha, I feel like, oh, I'm home. I'm thinking about myself in the middle of a jungle. But yes, it's just a tremendously amazing drink, and it's basically, apart from the cachaça, it's basically lemon and sugar. Yes, that's it. That's all it takes.
So it would be in North America, we might consider that like a refreshing lemonade. And
Kind
so,
of.
but you could use it in any juice though, right? You could use any other juice too.
Yes, the typical one is with lemon, but of course you can get strawberry, kiwi. I also love lichia, caipirinhas with lichia, but my favorite one, like, au concours, is the lemon. The lemon one is the trick behind it is the amount of ingredients that you're using. You have to, it's like a chemistry, you have to use the exact amount of ingredients to reach the perfect result. and then you can take it to a different level, because you're not gonna extract the juice of the lemon in like you normally do when you are just making juice. You usually use wood to like it's like a how do you say, it's like a spoon made of wood, and that will be used to squeeze the lemon, but not in such a way that you get the bitter part of it out, which is in the middle. In the middle of the lemon there's a white part that is very bitter, and so for the caipirinha we already have the bitterness of the cachaça, so we avoid the middle of the lemon. But we keep it very raw, in the sense of rustic. We keep it rustic. We add the green part of the lemon to the beverage, and that gives it extra refreshness. And 1 spoon of sugar is good enough. And I would advise you to use the demerara sugar, which is not very processed, not the refined one. It tastes even better with the brown sugar. That's my personal taste. Like, a lot of Brazilians would tell you not to do it. Like, we're walking in a dangerous field here. But I love it with demerara sugar, like not refined.
So it's
And
not. I'm sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
So the sugar, the non-refined sugar in North America, we have like a brown sugar that has molasses added to it. So you're just saying sugar and like raw sugar that hasn't been refined. It's more of a caramel colored sugar, but
Yes.
it's not like the sticky brown
No,
sugar that comes in a bag.
no, exactly. Not sticky at all. Like, it looks like normal refined sugar, but it's just brown, and it's not sticky at all. It's just grains.
Got it.
And it's brown. It's like light brown. And the caipirinha will look a little bit different than what you see in the pictures, but it tastes a lot better with that. It's just very subtle with the sugar. And when the sugar is not refined to the point it gets white, it's a little bit less sweet, which I prefer. I think it's very subtle, delicate, and at the same time refreshing. And so we Brazilians in general, we have a very sweet palate, and I'm kind of changing that in the last years. Like, I can feel a little bit more of the ingredients when I don't add that much sugar. And at the same time, nowadays what would be very bitter for me, it's sweet. So I got to that point because you're exercising your palate, to explore different tastes and everything. And so that's where I'm at right now. But yeah, if you prefer refined sugar, go for it. It's something that we do. But I think the real secret behind the caipirinha is in the ice. you know. I can tell the difference when the caipirinha was done with like blocks of ice, and you didn't take the time to break the ice into very small pieces, and then it tastes good still, but it's not the same. I think the real secret here is like I grab like a piece of ice, because it takes a lot of ice to make the perfect caipirinha. Like half of the cup will have to be ice, and that's what makes it really refreshing and amazing, and it goes perfectly with the weather. And so I break it into very small pieces, and it's just amazing because it gets the cachaça to be a little bit lighter than, if you were with blocks of ice, it would then melt and then it would taste funny. But in this way, it will not melt immediately. It will just go with all the ingredients in a perfect mix. It's just amazing.
So it sounds like the ice in one of the things we have here is like shaved ice where the pieces are very small, like a snow
Hmm.
cone. Is that the
Hmm.
kind of ice that little small little grains of
That's
ice
exactly it.
almost?
That's
Okay.
exactly it. Of course, if you don't have a machine, I'll just go like really aggressive with and get my eyes. Maybe if you put in a bag and just beats it against the wall. For instance, we do everything to break the ice. One of the techniques is actually to uh, use the wall to beat it against the wall. But of course, if you have that machine that will crash the ice for you, then it's even better and more professional too. But it's kind of part of the ritual here, you know?
Is preparing the ice is part of the fun.
Yeah, it's part of the fun, exactly. And it's also like you think that you have a caipirinha when it's 40 degrees outside, 40 degrees Celsius, which might be like 85 degrees Fahrenheit on your side, Sean. But imagine like you're doing your work with the ice and everything goes perfectly, the drink is refreshing, and it's also a perfect combination with the feijoada we were talking about before, because the acid will help you digest and you feel better afterwards. It just goes with everything that I mentioned here. It's like citric fruits are perfect to eat with feijoada.
It sounds like the beverage, the drink, whether you put alcohol in it or not, is just it reminds me of like sitting on a veranda with cool or it's warm
Yeah.
outside with a little cool breeze on you and you're enjoying food, you're enjoying company and all of your senses are really excited to a higher level. Your taste buds, your being around friends and family and people that you love and enjoy being around. It sounds like a really
Exactly.
amazing weekend activity. I think you could make the whole weekend
Definitely.
this process. You could go to prepare the meal. You could go out maybe for a samba in the evening, come
Exactly.
back, wake up, have coffee, and continue the party. I love how the party always continues in South America, Erica.
I know, I know. We are traditionally we learn how to mix all these ingredients, food, songs, and family time, and it's just so lovely. I wanna pass this on to my kids too. Like when you sit down and gather around a well cooked food and share it with your loved ones is just the perfect moment, the perfect moment. That this is where memories are gonna get built, you know?
Definitely, definitely. It sounds like your mom is an amazing cook. You're an amazing cook. Milena, my wife, is an amazing cook, and everybody in my family is really good. I'm not really that great. One of the things that I've been working on is like breakfasts.
Ah,
So
nice.
I'll make the breakfast. And one of the things that I've been doing is making different things and in eggs. And not like an omelet per se, but just like a scrambled egg mix. And I find that if we have, for instance, leftovers from the night before, that's a great way to start off. Start with some olive oil, some onions. A lot of times I won't put actual garlic in the breakfast eggs, but I'll put a little garlic powder. Probably
Well,
cheating, but it's easier. And sometimes I get too much garlic and stuff, so I can see that powder. I was
oh,
like,
me
okay, I
too.
know
I'm
exactly
guilty.
how that should be. And then, for instance, this last weekend we went to have a nice meal and brought leftovers home, and these leftovers included Brussels sprouts and steak.
Oh my
So I'm
God,
thinking,
so
okay,
amazing.
I'm cutting the steak up into nice, small pieces, thin pieces, and the Brussels sprouts I just left whole. And so I cut the steak up, chopped a little bit of onion, put that in some olive oil, browned off the steak. I threw in the Brussels sprouts and then peeled a couple of tomatoes, chopped that up, let the
Oh
tomatoes
God.
cook down, and sometimes we'll put spinach. I like spinach in eggs, but I hate the little stems. So I'm chopping the
I
stems
know.
off while this stuff I'm stirring this stuff up,
Uh-huh.
and it turns out really great. And then that cooks down. It's almost like a stew. And so I let that just cook down, where all the tomatoes or the juice from the tomatoes is cooked down, and then put the eggs in last, and just stir the eggs in, let them do their thing, let them cook, and take it out. And something else too. I mean, we have a multicultural home here. We have my wife Milena is from Colombia, South America, so I know how the
Yeah.
party keeps going. And the food, I mean, we're a lot of times Tex-Mex, which we have a lot of Tex-Mex food, a lot of delicious Tex-Mex food here. The Instead of tortillas, a really staple, a food staple in Colombia is an arepa. And so it's similar to a tortilla. It's corn, and it's about, I don't know, it's about a quarter of an inch thick, could be about a half inch thick, with cooked corn that's ground up, and
Right.
she'll make them into little corn patties. Or they come in the store different and pre-made, but we always have an arepa with the eggs, and sometimes I'll cook even broccoli. All right, I'm cooking the broccoli. I'll let that
Mm.
cook down, put the eggs in there. And so I'm mastering Sunday morning eggs and Saturday morning too. But that's really my meal because, like, when you live with like a gourmet chef, why go in the kitchen? Why even go in there?
I know, I know. I
So
struggle with that too. Like, I like to cook, but like, my four favorite dishes, and that's it. Like, I'm not. Um, I think the obligation of cooking every day is what makes it less amazing for me. But cooking when you really have this intention of gather people, and I'm gonna cook you a special meal that I learned, this is an amazing feeling. But sometimes the cooking, everyday cooking, is just something that I avoid at most. um when you have the obligation of cooking, then it kind of spoils it a little bit. But I think you can also find grace in cooking every day too. Like, you just have to find out the techniques to make it easier and easier, and that comes with practice. But I really enjoy cooking if it's for a special occasion, to impress my guests and gather people around, at the table. We're gonna talk and have fun, and meanwhile, the dish is already halfway done, and we just sit down, listen to music, or we grab a glass of wine and enjoy, and wait for the food to be ready. So that's one of my favorite experiences with food. So I have like the one, two, three dishes that I like the most, and I try to impress with them. If they don't work, I got nothing else.
so you mentioned the
Yeah.
fish wada. What are the other dishes that you're proficient with and feel good about?
Okay, one of my favorite ones is pasta that I learned in Naples. And back in the days, it was like 5 years ago when I went to Naples to learn the language and explore a little bit of the city. Naples is a very has a very rich history, not only because of, I knew a guy that he was going to build a place to put his wines, and it was like under the last floor, so he had to open the ground to build what we call a adega here in Brazil. And it's basically, it has the perfect conditions for a wine. The temperature is perfect because you're in under the last floor. And so he was gonna do that, and he starts digging with a couple of professionals, and then guess what? They ended up finding out a theater, like a Roman theater, under his place, and now the guy is rich because he people pay to get into his place and then go to the last floor. Things that will only happen in Naples. But yeah, so in one of those days, I found a Italian nonna that was giving courses of Italian food, and her whole philosophy behind the cooking was to get very simple ingredients and turn it into very sophisticated food. And so one of my favorite dishes in that occasion was a pasta with tomato sauce. And I used not to like tomato sauce at all because here in Brazil, what we usually do with tomato for pasta sauces, um, it becomes a little bit acid if you don't cook it for a long, long time. So to balance it a little bit, we used to add sugar. And I wasn't very comfortable with the sugar adding in the end. I think it didn't taste quite what I was looking for when I thought about tomato sauce. And I was like, what is it about Italian tomato sauce that is so different? And then she was like, I was like, do you add any sugar to it? And she almost beat me. No, you don't add sugar to the tomato sauce ever. Don't do that. And she was very mad for a while. And then when the anger passed, she was like, I'm gonna teach you how to do it. And it was so funny. Like they are very serious about their food. So for starters, she said, okay, you need to add the onions first, and it has to be the purple onion. Do you have this kind of onion in the States too? Like,
Yes, there's purple onions here.
yeah, so it has to be that kind of onion because it's gonna, um, if you cook it with a little bit of, not a little bit, a lot of olive oil and a little bit of water, then it will get the it's gonna melt down, and that amazing onion juice, it's gonna be in there for you to add the garlic. And don't slice the garlic. It has to be the whole, what we call the teeth of the garlic. Just add that to the onion juice that you just created with oil and a little bit of water, and the water is gonna make it sweat with that onion juice. Amazing. The smell of it is awesome. And after the garlic gets a little bit sauteed, then that's when you're gonna add the tomato, the what we call passata di pomodoro. It looks like smashed potato, but it's actually tomato. But the texture, I mean. And then that's the kind of tomato that you add in the end. And then that's it, Sean. You leave it cooking for 1 hour and a half in a very slow flame. And after an hour and a half, you turn off the fire, and then that's when you add the basil. So don't forget to add the basil only after you turned off the fire, because if you do it before, it's gonna be a little bit bitter, because it's gonna cook the basil a little bit. And then it's just gonna have this, it's like you added caramel to it. I don't know. It's
Wow.
just a mix of, it tastes like it has a little bit of sugar, but it doesn't have any sugar. It's just caramelized tomato, you know.
Caramelized onions. The sugar came from the caramel.
Oh my God, a
Or
mix
the
of
sugar came from the
amazing
caramel.
stuff.
The caramel came from the onions. The sweetness came from
Yes.
the onions.
Oh my God, yes, it
Wow.
extracted the onion caramel, if you can call it that way. in such an amazing way, and because it's very slow cooked, it just gathers people around. I cooked this dish 1,000 times here in Brazil, and people are just amazed.
I can
That's
imagine.
how, like, first time I had a date with my husband, I cooked that dish, and he was like, "Oh my God, I want to marry you." and so that was the little technique, because it's so easy. You just, once you're done with the onion and the tomato and garlic, you just have to wait for 1 hour and a half. It's gonna be ready. You don't have to keep mixing or anything like that. It's just simple.
Just and keep the
And make
fire
sure you
very
choose.
low underneath the heat, very low under it, right?
Exactly, exactly. So the texture is just like I mentioned before. It's gonna be thick. It's not gonna be like a juice of tomato. It's gonna be very thick, and it's got the slices of tomato in there, like real tomato. So it just tastes amazing. It's something that if you put the first, you don't expect the explosion of tastes that are gonna happen in your mouth when you try it.
And so, do you peel the tomatoes, or does the peel go in with the tomatoes?
Well, if you want to be really nona about it, then you peel the tomatoes, you cook before you use it. But you can also just buy the passata di pomodoro. It's very common in Italy. They take all natural ingredients and make sure you buy the ones that come in a glass instead of the ones that come in aluminum, because they're going to be fresh, and they're going to taste amazing. And that's the one I buy. The passata of pomodoro is like they cook it for a while, and it gets to the point where it's just chunks of tomato, but also a little bit fluid. And so that's the texture that you want, and you can buy it ready. That's even nonas do it, but like traditionally, you're gonna cook it before. That will take a lot longer because you already have 1 hour and a half of cooking, ahead of you after you add the passata di pomodoro. But it's just a different level of amazing, Sean. It's just so good and easy.
Next level amazingness.
Yes.
So, Erica,
And
let's.
your friends will think you're a chef.
You what?
Your friends are gonna think you're a chef, and you really, that's
Ah,
all.
your yes, your friends will definitely think you're a chef. Erica, you're making my mouth water with these delicious
I
dishes.
know.
I hope that one day we see these in vivo, in video. I hope you're able to record some of these things, especially if you're going to visit family and have the kitchen space and the time to do it. That would be so, so awesome.
Oh my God, I'm gonna make that my point and focus. Maybe share a little bit of recipes with our audience if they're into it. Just let us know in the comments if you want to see one of those recipes. I would be more than happy to share with you the ingredients, or a little bit of what I learned with the Italian nonas and Brazilian nonas. It'll be
Oh
amazing.
man. I think we've got like four more episodes just in those ideas. Italian nonas and Brazilian nonas. Take three.
Oh my God, yes. I also want to share in the future, like the other two dishes that I wanted to share with the audience. Maybe we can make the recipe later on. But yeah, that would be codfish with garlic and olive oil for Christmas. Sometimes it's so amazing. And eggplant lasagna. They just taste the best.
Oh wow. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to explore the codfish, Erica, and eggplant, is it eggplant casserole or eggplant lasagna?
Lasagna,
Eggplant
lasagna,
lasagna.
yes.
Eggplant lasagna. Definitely like and subscribe the Your Happy Home podcast. We'd love to see you next week when we talk about more delicious food. Talk about a worldwide fusion. Erica from Brazil traveling to Italy, bringing both of those worlds together. It's pure deliciousness. And
Oh, yes.
can't wait for everybody to join us again. Erica, thank you so much. Man, my mouth is just, it's like, oh man. We've talked about the caipirinha, we've talked about the feijoada, we've talked about all of these delicious things, and I don't think I'm going to be able to follow my calorie limit today.
Oh, Sean, I'm so sorry. It was like, yeah, I can't help it. Like, you touched my favorite topic, and I had to share a little bit of the situation here in Brazil because we are all about food. We love sharing a perfect meal, as I know that Americans love to do that too. I experienced some barbecues in America and with beer and just enjoying each other's company and the that kind of lifestyle that we all aim to achieve. It's amazing. Food is a great way to tell people we love them, we cherish them, and we want to see them enjoying life in every sense. It's an experience.
A lot of your happy home moments
Definitely.
waiting to be discovered and also to be savored and remembered. So beautifully, beautifully said, Erica. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It
Thank you,
is
audience.
absolutely. Thank you to our wonderful audience. It's always a pleasure sharing these moments, sharing these thoughts, sharing these experiences with two friends, hanging out, talking about cool stuff. And we thank you for joining us and can't wait for you to join us next week.
Yeah, and please share your favorite recipes too. We're gonna love to learn with you too, and maybe we can share some of them here in the next episodes. I think Sean still have to tell us a little bit more of his favorite dishes too. I would love to learn more about it. But also the audience, please feel free to share your favorite dishes with us. We're gonna love to learn about them.
Definitely, definitely. Yes, and we love, Erica and I, I'm going to speak for both of us. We love audience participation. We love learning about you. We love learning about your stories. We love learning about your dishes and things that make a happy home for you and your family. So definitely share. We want to share and we want to receive ideas. So please do share in the comments below, and we can't wait to see you again soon.
Yes, you can wait. See you next time. Bye bye.